there, Angry Faithful. This is just to let you know there's more than one way that you can check in on the different types of degree of fuckery we get into. You can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or just watch us on YouTube or Rumble. Don't forget to like, share, and comment where you can, or just leave 5 stars on Apple Podcast. We thrive on things like absolution from our audience, but see if we can get this steamrolled into something big. We're depending on you. Thank you for watching. Now let us begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Sorry. Today we're going to talk about, on Psychos and Sociopaths, Dylan Lee Rogers. The only reason why we're actually talking about this one is because we'll get ahead on this one. The Oregon Supreme Court overturns death sentence for Milan Forest killer. Now, we'll go over his crimes first and who he is. And this is going to probably be a short one, only because there's not much that I could find out except for a couple of things. But let's begin. Dylan Leroy Rogers was born September 30th, 1953. He's a serial killer currently on Oregon's death row, which we found out that he's not on death row anymore. He has been tied to murders of 7 women. He prefers street women, basically, usually addicts, street sex workers, and runaways. Bodies of 6 women were found at a dump site location on a privately owned forest lands outside Montoya. Bloody hell. Stephen Hawking voice saved me. Come on, people.
Malala.
It's a weird name. And thus he was named the Mala Forest murder. Now, Rogers was convicted in 1988 for the murders of his last victim, Jennifer Lisa Smith, whom he killed on August 7, 1987. And in 1989, for the further 6 murders in which he was sentenced to death. Jennifer was a convicted sex worker and drug addict. She was in Rogers' truck parked in a lot located off of East McLowing Boulevard in Oak Grove. Excuse me. PPH right here. Go juice. Anyways, in a unincorporated Plasma County, when he stabbed her 11 times in the breast, abdomen, and back. She fell out of the truck and was attended to by witnesses from the nearby Denny's restaurant, later dying at the hospital. One witness stood by the window relaying the actions of another patron who could not see in the parking lot. That patron was called, that patron called the Clankamus, like Christmas, but Clankamus. It's weird saying. County Sheriff Office. When the victim fell to the ground, several witnesses ran to their car in an attempt to block Rogers' car in the parking lot. However, he drove over the landscaping and headed south to southeast McClellan. One witness followed Rogers through Milwaukee, Yellowstone, Oregon City, and Canby at speeds of 100 miles per hour. So that patron really wanted to get that guy. Anyways, when the suspect's car pulled into the driveway, the fellow driver took the address, went to a phone, and reported the information. Rogers, God, big words, big words.
Modus operandi.
Modus operandi was picked up And just for the people that are listening and don't know that word, I don't know that word. This is the first one. Is someone's habits of working, and particularly in the context of business or criminal investigation, but also more generally, it is Latin phrase mode of operation. But his modus operation, but mode of operating was pick up prostitutes and take them to a secluded area. He took at least 6 of them into the forest where he tied them up and killed them. He was married, had a child. He was a small engine mechanic by trade and deeply in debt. He was connected to the bodies through a habit of pouring a mini vodka of mini bottle of sorry mini vodka bottle of vodka into an orange juice bottle, making himself a screwdriver. Wow. He left the evidence at the crime scene. That's pretty. Roberts was convicted in May 1989 for the murders of 23-year-old Lisa Marie Mock, 26-year-old Mandarin. How do you get this word right? Maureen Ann Hudges, 35, Christina Lotus Adams, 20-year-old Kathy DeVore, 26-year-old Nuance Nooney Corvez, and 16-year-old Rihanna Gores.
Giles.
God, Giles was one of the guys from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But anyways, the 7th body was identified in August 2013. Rogers was sentenced to death 3 times, and 3 times in Oregon Supreme Court vaccinated the sentence of death and remarked the case for a new trial. A first 2 Supreme decisions came in 1992 and 2000. Both systems, the jury again imposed the death penalty. On October 11th, 2012, the Oregon Supreme Court vacated his last death sentence and remained the case for a new trial of proximity penalty. On November 16th, 2015, the jury sentenced Rogers to death for the 4th time, according to his defense attorney, while have waived all further appeals and accumulated to his crime in exchange for a true life sentence instead of a death penalty. On November 12th, 2021, his death sentence was overturned the 4th time. This was due to the part of the new line signed by Governor Kate Brown, which limited the amount of aggravating factors required for seeking the death penalty. Well, my opinion on this one, he should have gotten the death penalty. He pretty much, my opinion, this is just my opinion, doesn't take anything from real lives other people's opinion. But a person that does such a serious crime here in Texas, it's totally different. If you do a murder in front of so many victims, they're actually, from what Ron Weiss says, they put them in an express line, which they should actually die faster, not waste taxpayers' money on, because usually it's like 15 years to where they're actually killed. So they live for about 15 years. And some people, I know one of the cases that we actually went over, one of the victims, I think it was sister, didn't get to see the person put to death because it was, I think it was the gang, dating gang to it, because he was on the dating game. But he actually, he's still alive. This guy is still alive too. But this is the actual accounts through the OPB, which is, I don't know what it is. In a unanimous decision Friday, the Oregon Supreme Court overturned the death sentence of Dayton Leroy Rogers, who was convicted in late 1980 of killing 8 women. In the ruling, the justice ordered Rogers be resentenced by a lower court, presumably to life in prison. The Oregon Supreme Court ordered follows an October 7th ruling, also by the court, that found that 2 years ago, state lawmakers have fundamentally altered providing socialite standards. Really? Is that what it says?
Prevailing societal standards.
Prevailing societal standards. Oh my God. For execution after they charged the kind of crimes that constituted aggravated murder, which these were aggravated murders. The only charge in Oregon that carries a death sentence. These were aggravated murders. He should have freaking died. 1987, police discovered 7 women in the Ontalia forest, which the medical examiner determined had been stabbed or cut. At the time, Rogers was in custody, suspect of the stabbing and murder of other women. Police found similarities between the case. The women in the forest included that all were sex workers between 1988. Rogers was convicted 14 counts of aggravated murder and sentenced to death. They tried him for aggravated murder. He got aggravated murder. He should be put to death. I'm sorry. In 2019, the Oregon legislature passed a bill 1013, which limited what crimes qualified as aggravated murder. The crime currently only applies to murders of children younger than 14 years old, murders of law enforcement armed terrorist attacks that kill at least 2 people, and prisons carried out by someone who previously been convicted of murder. That's a far narrower scope than what former constituted a capital offense when Rogers was convicted. Oh my God, you gotta. I mean, those people should be dead too. But honestly, this guy should have been. He killed fucking 8 people. That's what gets me on this one. While the law changed, including a provision that didn't make it retroactive, the Supreme Court's ruling last month did just that, relying on a section of state constitution that prohibits depropriating punishment. This is the 3rd time in 2 months Oregon's court has scrapped the death sentence for an adult in custody. Okay. On that note, I feel sorry for the victims that they're not going to get their justice, and that put him to the death. This is what gets me, and a lot of people will probably argue, comment if you hate my ideas. It doesn't matter. This is just my opinion. This is the reason why I talk about this stuff. Is a lot of these cases, the person that ends up doing horrible crimes in places like Oregon, which we understand this is not a political standing or anything like that, it's a liberal state. So is California and other places. Now, there are some liberal states that still do the death penalty and still adhere to that death penalty. But they get this ideology that certain crimes are this high and certain crimes, I mean, if you're a murderer, you kill like, honestly, if you kill like 1 person, you should be put to death, unless it's like self-defense, and you prove it was self-defense. But if it's something like you're basically saying that you're going to kill these people because it makes you feel better, you get off on it, you should be put down like a dog. And I say like a dog, dogs bite once and they're put down. And it doesn't matter unless they're like meant to be that type of dog, like a security dog. But even security dogs, if the dog ends up biting someone without commands and everything like that, the dog's put down. But in my opinion, it's the same thing. I mean, yes, we're literally walking, breathing, intelligent people, which intelligent animals. Let's put it that way. We're intelligent animals that go out and pretty much know right from wrong. And that note, though, if you do something out of enjoyment, I mean, look at the Jungle Book, the three laws of the jungle. The only reason why you're supposed to, well, actually, I think it's two laws. I'm actually curious now. Laws of uh, okay. In reference to the laws of jungle, you referring to a situation in which there's no laws or rules to govern the ways of people behaving. That people behave. People use force to get what they want. Let me see here if I can get a. Sorry, folks. Well, anyways, I was going for the Packer thing. I don't remember where it's actually from. There's actually like I think two laws of jungle. The only reason why you're supposed to kill is for food or protection, and that's, in my opinion, that's the only reason why I'm actually killed for food, not humans. Get it right, people, but for actual uh, food like an animal, like deers or elk or something that mountain lions actually tastes very good. Not gonna lie. Or to protect you and your family. That's the only reason why we kill. There's humans or animals that kill for fun. There's some that in their animal children that do the same thing. But in human society, if you kill for fun, you should be put down, hands down. This the whole reason I wanted to do this guy wasn't because of he is a serial killer. He did kill, but it's overturning something like the death penalty for the basic fact because we feel bad that we have to kill somebody. We shouldn't feel bad at taking out the garbage. That's what you're doing. You're literally taking. People might hate me for the opinion that I give on this one, and this is more of a. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a keyboard warrior type deal, but I have a lot of people that agree with me on both sides of the spectrum. Should we try to re-educate people? Yes, we should try, like Nazi re-education. But should we re-educate people to re-engage into society for people that like rob? Yes. For people that what's another one that's robbery, conning, more or less theft. But the circumstances of even drug dealers, it's we can re-integrate those types of people, drug dealers, thieves. I know a lot of them that they're ex drug dealers, ex thieves, they did horrible things, and they can reintegrate back into society to where they're better people. I know lots of them that do a lot of charity work. Now I also know, just as my time as a correctional officer, I know some people that murdered, but they actually, and if you actually talk to these people, they know what they did. They know what the sentence they have. They know they're not getting out, and they still do charitable work to, I guess, back up. But they just killed one person. They felt really bad. This guy killed 7. Knew what he's doing. There's a lot of murderers and serial killers that wish they actually got caught. That their urges, but they should still be put down because of the basic fact of they're a ravage dog. And I hate to put it that way because I like dogs, but they're ravage. They're the epitome of a monster and evil. And anybody that knows me, I will go after evil no matter what, and I will protect my family from the evils of this world until they can defend themselves of that evil of this world. Which I really hope I never get that chance. Nobody really wants that chance. There's keyboard warriors all the fucking time that oh, if this situation, I would be there, blah 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 blah. I would do this, I would do that. Me, I've been in those situations, not as a law enforcement, not as military. I have been in the military, but I've been in those situations to where, yes, I have been in those situations to where I had to make a split decision to where I had to protect people and eliminate a threat. Luckily, at the time frame in one of these situations, I didn't have all the stuff. I've talked to a guy that he runs a tactical uh, tactical for guns and everything like that. And he said he was with his children at the time. He had his gun on him, but his main thing, and this is like the airplane. You put your mask on so you can breathe, and then you put the other people's mask on who can't put their mask on, because your survivability is you first, so you can get the other people to safety, which in all reality, that's what should be any kind of man's decision, or woman, or normal human being. We'll just go with normal human being on this one. Even though men are meant to be the protectors in society and everybody's mind and everything like that. But I was in that situation. At the time, I didn't have my concealed carry. And did I get my concealed carry after that? Yes, most definitely. Because I have been noticing that I was put in situations to where I had to defend others along with myself. And I am a fisticuffs guy. I can take care of my own with that. But when it comes around to where you can't really stop a person as fast as possible with just fists, sometimes you have to use extracurricular activities with guns. But in all reality, people that are like this, that Dylan Leroy Rogers, yeah, Dayton Leroy Rogers, sorry, he's someone that should be put down like a dog. And this is the third time I'm repeating this. I'm sorry if I keep on repeating this, but it's something I want to integrate in a lot of people's ideology and a lot of stuff, because you really shouldn't be in a situation where you know something's out there in your area. I mean, we're always going to have something bad out there, and even in a Royal, Royal, small town. That we have a situations where we have to look on everything, and hopefully our neighbor isn't out to get us, which statistically speaking, most of the people that actually do kill us is someone that knows us. And that's just common statistics that the FBI puts out. But most of the time, yes, we're usually murdered by the people that actually we know and we think are harmless, but end up being very opposite of that. But anyways, on that note, people, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We have all of the stuff that I put in the front of it, so you can check us out on the other ones. Sorry for this being a short one. It's one of those. This one was really one of those ones that it's really get our opinions out there, and hopefully we can have debates with other people and everything like that, to where people can conversate or stuff like this, because always it's a situation to where if you look at it, we're better not alone but as pairs, and a group mentality. I mean, you look, I don't know, a lone gazelle is not very good against a pack of wolves, but if you get a couple of people that have the same ideology as yourself and can go after the evils of this world, not vigilante style, but just if something that the situation comes up to you, like this, I think it was last week, the New York subway shooting, or even reference from my time when I was in the military, 9/11. There was only one plane that comes to pass where the people fought back and they saved lives. So thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for listening, and good night. I'm David Dickerman, and this is Psychos and Sociopaths. Goodbye.